Hello there. In this video, you'll learn how to improve your leadership and create the optimum conditions for high performance within your team. I'll share with you just one very simple question that crystallizes decades of research in the field of emotional intelligence and neuroscience. Asking yourself this one simple question on a regular basis will immediately tell you what you need to do to provide the best possible leadership for your direct reports and team members. Firstly, what problem are we trying to solve here for you? Well, ultimately, how do you improve the quality of the thinking, problem solving, interaction and decision making of your direct reports? Because as that happens, performance will improve. So how do we do that? Well, the field of emotional intelligence and neuroscience tells us both how to do it and also how not to do it. Your ability to think creatively, come up with smart ideas, make great decisions, and behave in a productive way is strongly affected by your emotions, particularly when you feel the emotions of fear and anger. In other words, when you're feeling under stress of some kind. When you feel stressed about something, which is another way of saying you feel threatened in some way by something, the levels of adrenaline and cortisol in your body increase. Adrenaline and cortisol directly reduce the processing of information and energy by the upper parts of your brain. They do this as part of the fight-flight reaction to a threat, trying to enable you to survive whatever it is the threat to your physical body. We've survived by not thinking in threatening situations, just by acting quickly, running away or fighting. Unfortunately, this process of protecting us from real and present physical threats is the same process that tries to protect us from perceived threats, the threats that we just imagine. For example, that's why you should never hit the reply button to an email that lands in your inbox that has pushed your buttons and that you're feeling angry about. In some way, you feel threatened by something in this example. And at that moment, adrenaline and cortisol is racing around your body, actively preventing you from thinking. If you reply at that moment, your response is likely to be similar to that of a child. Not good. Now, raised levels of those two hormones on an ongoing basis prevent the neurons in your brain from making connections and processing energy and information. Now, if you're constantly feeling stressed, which as I said is another word for feeling threatened, you will constantly have raised levels of both adrenaline and cortisol in your body. And your thinking, decision-making and behavior will be suboptimal. And over time, your brain will make less connections and therefore be less able to process information. If your team members or direct reports are constantly feeling stressed, then exactly the same thing applies to them too. Lower quality thinking, decision-making and behavior. And over time, less brain capacity to process information. There's no getting around this. It's just how our brains work. It's what the research proves. So what can we do about it? How can we reduce the stress levels of our team members? So here's where that one simple question comes in. All of us from the day we were born are continually trying to avoid feeling stressed, to avoid feeling threatened. And we're programmed to look for others who can help us to feel safe and comfortable. And we're always looking to reduce our anxiety. And this is where we get to leadership and you. Your direct reports are always, usually unconsciously, looking to you as their leader and manager to help them feel safe and comfortable and reduce their stress and anxiety. In the back of their minds, deep in their subconscious, they're asking one simple question of you. Are you there for me? Are you there for me? If their answer to that question is yes, then they'll feel less stress and anxiety. They'll have less adrenaline and cortisol in their bodies, and therefore they'll be able to think, make good decisions, and be far more productive. If, however, their answer to that question is no, then they'll feel increased stress and anxiety. Their levels of those two hormones will be high, and their ability to think, make decisions, and behave productively will be about the same as it is for a screaming 5-year-old. Seriously, it's exactly the same thing we're talking about here. And all your direct reports are asking this question about you right now. They're not saying it out loud, and they're probably not even having that conscious thought, but in their subconscious mind, they're asking it. And what answer are they getting? If you're not there for them, you're in trouble. What do you need to do to be there for them, to help them to learn and grow, to support them, to give them direction, to listen and to understand them, to shield them from the organisational chaos and politics, to create the conditions where their stress levels are low and their ability to think well, act well and make great decisions is high? Or are you distant, detached and absorbed with your own stuff, just telling them what to do, criticising them when they make mistakes, threatening to fire them if they don't do what you say, ignoring them when they have something to say to you? Only you know the answers to those questions. So ask yourself the question right now. Are you there for them? I mean, really, are you there for them? And please download the simple worksheet next to this video and discover all the many things that you can do to make sure that the answer to that question is yes. Thanks for watching.